Nigel Ernest James Mansell was born on August 8, 1953 in Upton upon Severn. He grew up in Birmingham, where his parents Eric and Joyce ran a tea shop. Mansell used his own money to afford his first Formula 4 drive, and he worked his way up the ranks, eventually reaching Formula 1. Mansell went on to win 31 Grand Prix, one World Championship, and even became the highest paid British sportsperson for a period of time. But this isn't what I'm here to tell you about. I'm here to tell you about what Mansell got up to during his Formula 1 hiatus in 1993 and 1994, and how Red Number 5 took America by storm in the CART Indycar World Series. In 1992, Nigel Mansell stormed to his first F1 world title, breaking plenty of F1 records along the way. This is probably why his departure from the sport in 1993 came as such a shock to fans of his and fans of the sport. Nigel left the sport due to a public disagreement with his Williams team. Mansell's Williams contract ran out at the end of 1992, and early in the season he requested a contract extension from the team, which they agreed upon. Williams sent out a written document to Mansell's home in the Isle of Man for Nigel to sign. This document was nowhere to be seen, and according to Patrick Head, Nigel was hesitant to sign the deal. During this hesitant period, Nigel was winning race after race for Williams, and seeing his good form and performance over teammate Riccardo Patrese, Nigel requested more money for the next season. Williams said no, and then informed Nigel that they had already agreed a deal with French superstar Alain Prost for the next season, at the second round of the 1992 season. This caused arguments between Mansell and Williams' leadership due to the history between Nigel and Alain, so they decided to focus on racing first, contracts second. In the background, Ayrton Senna expressed interest in racing in the team, and even told Williams he would drive for free just to be in their car. The 1992 Williams was an extremely good car, so this made somewhat sense at the time. Alain Prost, however, had a clause in his contract that said Williams would not sign Senna once he was at the team. This was because, well, Williams decided that only one high wage was enough. They told Nigel Mansell that if he did not sign the original contract, he would be replaced by Ayrton Senna. When Mansell found out that this was a ruse, he immediately organised a press conference to announce his retirement. Williams made a last gasp offer at the Italian Grand Prix, but the damage was done. Mansell was gone. So with nothing to do for at least a year, Mansell took the unorthodox retirement sport option and decided to head across the Atlantic Ocean and join the CART Indycar Series, racing alongside Mario Andretti at Newman Haas. At the season opener in Surfers Paradise in Australia, Mansell became the first rookie to take pole and win his very first race.
For Nigel Mansell, looking for Jim Swintal's checkered flag, and it will be a history-making event too, as here he comes. Nigel Mansell has scored the victory in the Kmart Haviland Lola. Mansell became the first IndyCar driver to win from the pole in his first race. His car ran out of fuel a few hundred yards past the finish line. He worked the car to its fullest and achieved the ultimate reward.
A few weeks later, however, Nigel unfortunately suffered a crash at Phoenix International Raceway. Thankfully, the second round at Phoenix was the only race he missed. The 1993 Indianapolis 500 was going very similar to his debut. He led the race, but unfortunately it wasn't to be for Nigel. After a poor restart, Emerson Fittipaldi and Dutch driver Arie Lundijk would get past, meaning Mansell finished in third. This motivated Mansell more, and he would go on to win 4 more races in the season, including an ultra-entertaining win at the 200 miles of New Hampshire on his 40th birthday.
Sends that checkered flag ahead. Bossell tries to close in. He can't get the job done. And Nigel Mansell picks up the win. Nigel Mansell's first win on an oval, and he continues his point.
Mansell secured more high-placed finishes as well as his win, meaning he would be crowned the 1993 CART IndyCar Series champion.
Like so many times before, he figured out how to work the track during the race. He learned lap after lap, and then dominated the field. Nigel had little competition after that, with Fittipaldi fading to fifth. The championship was his for the taking.
Good job, champ! What a deal! Emerson finished. Emerson finished fifth. You're the champ. You're the champ. Ah, fantastic! We've won the championship. Yes. You won it. You won it. Everybody has just done a fantastic job. I can't thank you enough. We've definitely won the championship as well. Yeah. Hey, great job.
This meant Nigel Mansell became the only man to date to be the IndyCar champion and Formula 1 champion at the exact same time. He was still the reigning F1 champion, as the season had not been decided yet. Unfortunately for Nigel, his car next year was so unreliable, you'd swear Ferrari entered IndyCar. He finished 8th in the championship in an extremely toxic environment at Newman Haas. You see why the Ferrari joke is funny now? Nigel was the catalyst for the relationship breakdown between himself and Mario Andretti. Mario has since remarked, "I had a lot of respect for him as a driver, but not as a man." After the kart season ended, Nigel returned to Formula 1 with Williams to fill in alongside Damon Hill. He could have gone to play golf or something, but I don't think Nigel likes relaxing. Mansell drove 3 races, winning 1. Mansell took the victory in Adelaide ahead of championship protagonists Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill. Yes, it was that one, before you ask. After losing his Williams seat in 1995 to test driver David Coulthard, Mansell joined McLaren. Controversially, of course it was. McLaren wanted a world champion, but their engine supplier, Mercedes, wanted a young up-and-comer. Mansell missed the first 2 rounds of the season as, well, he couldn't fit in the car. Mark Blundell drove instead, and Mansell returned for round 3 at Imola. The car was terrible, to put it lightly, and Mansell gave up and went back into retirement after just 2 races with McLaren. Nigel Mansell has always admitted, and in an interview in 2015, he also admitted that this was the wrong thing to do, and he should have stayed and helped the team despite the MP4-10's issues. Mansell would not return to Formula 1 for a 3rd time. He did some testing with Jordan, but nothing sufficed. Mansell went on to do a bit of British touring car here and there with a best finish of 5th in what some touring car fans describe as the greatest race in BTCC history. Do you remember my bad joke earlier about Mansell going to play golf? Well, he actually did, but not just around his backyard. He competed in the Australian Open to check off a bucket list item. Want to know who makes more comebacks than Mansell? Well, that would be me. So subscribe for more videos just like this one.